There are some people who tell me, Brother Zakir, suppose if you're driving a car, and if you have a temporary license is a kacha license in India, temporary license. And if you have an accident, the police will give you a small fine. If you have a permanent license, and if you have an accident, the police will give you a bigger fine. Therefore, if you don't read the Quran, and if you don't understand the Quran, and if you make any sin, God will punish you less. If you understand the Quran, and then if you commit a sin, then God will give you double punishment. Very good logic. So why do you understand the Quran? Behave like a person who have a temporary license and enjoy life. Less punishment. I told this brother, for sake of argument, I agree with you, that a person who has a temporary license, a person who has a kacha license, if he has an accident, maybe the police will fine him with 1,000 rupees or $1,000. And if a person who has a permanent license, if he has an accident, maybe the police will fine him double, 2,000 rupees or $2,000. Okay, I agree with you. But the point to be noted is that if a person who has a permanent license, in 1 year the chances he'll have an accident is maybe 1. But a person who has a temporary license, who has not learned driving well, the chances he'll have an accident in 1 year is maybe 50. So at the end of the year, the person who has permanent license pays a fine of 1,000 rupees or $1,000. And a person who has a temporary license, he pays a fine of $50,000. A person who has a temporary license pays $1,000. A person who has a permanent license pays $2,000. So if he has an accident once a year, at the end of the year, he pays a fine of $2,000. And a person who has a temporary license, maybe he'll have 50 accidents in a year. At the end of the year, he pays a fine of $50,000 or 50,000 rupees. There are some Muslims who go to the other extreme, who commit excess, and they say that reading the Quran in Arabic, it is not useful. Allah says in the Quran, in Surah Nisa, chapter number 4, verse number 171, La taglu fi dinukum. Do not commit excesses in your religion. To say that a person does not benefit by reading only Arabic is wrong. There are various verses in the Quran. There are various hadiths which talk about the blessings, the sawab a person gets even for reading Arabic. Allah says in the Quran in Surah Ankabut, chapter number 29, verse number 45, that we have revealed the verses of the Quran and recite what we have revealed to you. Utlu ma uya ilayka min al-kitab, that recite of what we have revealed to you of the Quran. And our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, it's hadith in Tirmidhi, hadith number 2910, where the beloved Prophet said that anyone who recites one letter of the word of Allah, the book of Allah, he gets one sawab, one hasna. And that is multiplied tenfold. And Allah is not one letter. Alif is a letter, Lam is a letter, Ha is a letter. So you get 10, 10, 10, 30 sawab. For example, if you recite Alif, Lam, Mim, you get 10, 10, 10, 30 sawab. And this is confirmed. There is no doubt about it. But the amount of mistakes we make throughout the day, throughout the life, the amount of sins we commit, are these 10, 10, 10 sawab sufficient to transport you to Jannah? If besides reading in Arabic, if we understand in the language we know what Allah has commanded, and if we implement the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah, you will get multiple times sawab. And Allah says in the Quran, in Surah Jummah, chapter number 62, verse number 5, the parable of those who were given the obligations of the Mosaic law, talking about the Jews, but they did not fulfill their obligations, is the example of a donkey, which carries tons of books, but they understand it not. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He chose the Jews and He delivered the message to them. But they did not do the duty. They did not follow the instructions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, they are like donkeys, which carry tons of books, but they understand it not. And Allah says, if you do not do your job, if you do not follow the instructions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah says in Surah Muhammad, chapter number 47, verse number 38, Allah says, يَسْتَبْدِلْ قَوْمًا غَيْرَكُمْ ثُمَّ لَا يَكُنْ أَمْثَالُكُمْ. And if you do not do your job, Allah will substitute in your place another people, ثُمَّ لَا يَكُنْ أَمْثَالُكُمْ, and they will not be like you. We Muslims, we very often do Khatmi Quran, especially in Ramzan. We finish the Quran once, twice, 5 times, 10 times, alhamdulillah. But most of us Muslims, even though we don't understand Arabic, we only recite the Arabic Quran. Twice, thrice. I tell them, instead of reciting only in Arabic the Quran twice, and if you don't understand Arabic, recite in Arabic once, and the second time, read the translation in the language you understand the best. If you know English, read the English translation of the Quran. If you know Urdu, read the Urdu translation of the Quran. If you know Hindi, read the Hindi translation of the Quran. If you know German, read the German translation of the Quran. If you know French, read the French translation of the Quran. Read the translation of the Quran in the language you understand the best. It will get you more benefit, so that you can implement on the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our beloved Prophet Muhammad said, it's a hadith mentioned in Ibn Majah, chapter number 16, hadith number 219, narrated by Abu Dhar, may Allah be pleased with him. He said that the Prophet said that, "Oh Abu Dhar, may Allah be pleased with him, it is better that you learn one verse of the Quran rather than pray 100 rakats of salah." The Prophet said, if one verse of the book of Allah, if you learn, if you understand, it is far superior than reading 100 rakat salah. And every rakat salah minimum that you have to recite is Surah Fatiha. Minimum 7 verses. So in 100 rakat, minimum verses you will recite is 700 verses of the Quran. So according to this hadith, if you learn and understand one verse of the Quran and implement it, it is far superior than reciting 700 verses of the Quran. When we ask the Muslims that, why was the Quran revealed? Many of us say, it was revealed for Quran Khani. When we have opening ceremony of an office shop, so we recite the Quran. When we buy a new housewarming ceremony, we recite the Quran. When someone dies, then we recite the Quran. I do not know of any verse in the Quran, no Sahih hadith, in which the Prophet or any of the Sahabas, they recited the Quran for the opening ceremony of the house or the shop or when someone died. And they get a group of people and they recite the Quran fast. Maybe 30 people, each one reciting one juz. So I tell them that if you really want to do Quran Khani, instead of that, do Quran Fahmi. Do it on this occasion, no problem. Do it once a month. Do it once a week. Do it daily. When you call 30 people, instead of reciting in Arabic one juz, along with Arabic, even read the translation of that juz which you have recited. Instead of 30 people, call 60 people. Read half juz in Arabic, half juz, the translation which you understand the best. Have Quran Fahmi, understand the Quran, understand the message. Inshallah, it will get you multiple times more sawab. I would like to give an example. That there was a person, there's an Indian, who goes to France to get a bachelor's degree. But when he goes to France, the language of instruction was French. And this Indian, he did not know French. So he used to attend the classes religiously, regularly. Whenever he used to attend, he used to get a P. P is for present. Full year he attends the class. but the instructions are in French, he does not understand it. After 1 year, he appears for the examination. The question paper is in French, but yet he gets a P. P is not for past, P is for present. But just by being present, do you think he will pass in the examination? He does not understand a word. Maybe because he knows English, like how many of us, we know Urdu script, so we can recite the Quran. So he can read some of the French without understanding, because the script of English and French is the same. Do you think he'll pass in the examination? He gets a P. The P is for present, it is not for past. That's the reason it's very important that we read the Quran with understanding.
The Holy Quran is a book for the man of action and not the man who is idle. Let your actions be the reflection of your faith. They are the manifestation of the person you are and the beliefs you hold. Let us put our faith in action.
Comprehend how real faith convinces one to act righteously. Connect to know Yasir Fazagha in Faith in Action every Friday at 10 p.m. Saudi Arabia and 11 p.m. UAE on Peace TV. Courage it takes to stand up for what you believe in. Courage it takes to be true and righteous. Courage it takes to dare and answer your questions, be they social, political, economic, educational, or religious. To get clear and convincing answers,
Test your courage and question me in Dare to Ask.
Dare to Ask, next on Peace TV.
Muslims, we give respect to the Quran, alhamdulillah. But many of us, they go beyond the limit. They give so much respect that they forget for what purpose the Quran was revealed. You know, we keep the Quran on the topmost shelf. Alhamdulillah. They keep it so much on top that it's difficult to reach. And the Quran catches dust. You know, the Quran is a book of guidance. It's a guidebook. You know, suppose if you are studying, the guidebook is normally at a shelf which is reachable. You know, it's kept at a shelf which you can reach the easiest. You won't keep it on top where it's difficult to take a stool to get it down. So Quran is a book which should be referred every day. It should be handy. And many of us Muslims, you know, we tie the Quran in a pure silk cloth. And then we tie a knot on it. Suppose if you want to read the Quran, you start thinking, okay, 5 minutes to open the Quran. 5 minutes again to tie the Quran, 10 minutes. The thought of you opening the Quran and again tying it will be a deterrent. And if you have 10 minutes, 10 minutes abhi kholne mein aur bandhne mein jayenge. If you have 10 minutes time, you know, to open the Quran, close 10 minutes, so better not read the Quran. See, we have to respect the Quran, but the main respect is in the heart. I'm not against keeping the Quran on top, don't get me wrong. But see to it that it is accessible. It's easily available for guidance. You know, many of us Muslims, before touching the Quran, we scrutinize 1,000 things as though it's an RDX bomb. Quran, wearing shoes, can I touch the Quran? Can I read the Quran while standing? Can I read it in the office? All these things, they prevent you from reading the Quran. We scrutinize the Quran as though it's an RDX bomb going to explode. The Quran is a book of guidance. You know, that's the reason many of us Indians object to, you know, the Arabs, mashallah, the way they treat the Quran, they give respect. But as though it's a guide, it's available. We Muslims keep it on topmost shelf. You know, in India, it's catching dust. And rarely will we find people, when they have 5 minutes, 10 minutes, they refer to the Quran, because there is, you know, We have to have that frame of mind, and then we have to see 10 things. We can't be in shoes, we can't stand, and we have to have a hat over your head, etc., etc. See, many things are good, but don't make life so difficult that the main purpose of the Quran is for guidance is defeated. And very often, if you go to the Gulf countries, many of the Arabs, when they come for Salah a few minutes before, you find them taking the Quran and reading. In India, rarely will you find that. And suppose someone is reading in the first row, and someone takes the Quran and reads in the second row, there will be a person who will object. How can you read the Quran in the second row? The back is facing the Quran. Haram. Khalas. And if you have to sit in the mosque, and suppose at your home or in the mosque, if by mistake, if you happen to read the Quran while you're back facing Qibla, khalas, you'll get fatwa, haram. You can't read the Quran with your back facing the Qibla, back facing the Kaaba. I've been to Haram several times in Makkah. Several times, they have this Talimul Quran, they have the Hifz classes, and the students sit in rows. Many of the backs face the Quran of the other student who's carrying a Quran in the hand. And many a time the teacher is facing the Kaaba and the students' backs are facing the Kaaba. So where do they get this from? Which verse of the Quran, which hadith, I don't know. So we have to love the Quran, we have to respect, but we have to know that the main reason the Quran was revealed was for hidayah, was for guidance. Once there was an Indian Imam, very good Qari. He went to Saudi Arabia. And because he was famous, it was Maghrib time. So they told the Qari, they told the Imam, Imam, you lead the Salah. So the Indian Imam, he goes and he leads the Salah for Maghrib. He recites and he finishes the Salah. And when he finishes the Salah, one Saudi smiles at him. So then he asks that, what's the problem? Was there any problem in my qiraat? So the Saudi told him, no, your qiraat was wonderful. I was only wondering that when you recited Surah Yusuf, you put Yusuf alayhi salam in the well, but before you complete the salah, why didn't you get him out of the well? This anecdote would be understood only by those people who read the Quran with understanding. Those who don't read the Quran with understanding will not be able to understand this anecdote. The Saudi was telling him, if you read Surah Yusuf, it speaks about the story of Yusuf Islam, that how he was betrayed by his brothers, and his brothers put him in the well, and later a caravan comes, and Yusuf Islam is got out of the well. So the Saudi tells him that you recited very well, but in your salah you put Yusuf Islam in the well, but at least before ending the salah you should have brought him out of the well. That means we start the surah from anywhere, and we end it anywhere without realizing, have we completed the meaning or not? We Muslims, we have several excuses for not reading the Quran with understanding. And we always give excuses for not reading. We have the time to read books, volumes, memorize them, but the glorious Quran, which is the last and final revelation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, unfortunately, we don't take out time to read the message of our Creator Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah says in the Quran, in Surah Muhammad, chapter number 47, verse number 24, Allah says, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ. Do they not ponder over the Quran? Or are their hearts locked up? Allah is saying that don't you ponder over the verses of the Quran, or are your hearts locked up? Allah says in Surah Baqarah, chapter number 2, verse number 159, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He makes the signs clear, after it has been revealed to you, and made the guidance clear, and if you conceal them, Allah's curse is on you. Allah says, those who conceal the signs after it's made clear to you, and the guidance after it is given to you, Allah's curse is on such people. Allah says in Surah Furqan, chapter number 25, verse number 30, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says that these are my people who took the Quran for foolish nonsense. Imagine the beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying that these are my people who took the Quran for foolish nonsense. But naturally, the context of the verse is talking about munafiq. But unfortunately today, we have Muslims who yet take the Quran for foolish nonsense. Na'uzubillah. The Quran was revealed as a guidance for the whole of humanity. And when we read the Quran, there are two types of reading. One is called as Tazakkur Quran, and the other is Tadabbur Quran. Tazakkur Quran is reading the Quran and understanding the meaning superficially, which can be very well done by reading the translation of the Quran as well as the Arabic. The other is Tadabbur Quran, is pondering over the meaning of the Quran, thinking over the meaning of the Quran. This, if you read the translation, it can be done to a certain level, but if you know Arabic as a language, it is the best. Tadabbur Quran can be done much better by knowing Arabic as a language. A person can say that he has done Tazakkur Quran, he has read the Quran, but no one can say that he has finished doing Tadabbur Quran. He has finished pondering over all the verses of the Quran, because the Quran is beautiful. It is unlike any other book that you read once, it's finished. If it's a very good book, you read twice, thrice, that's it. Quran, even if you read 1,000 times, the 1,001st time you read, you get more guidance. Every verse of the Quran, it has different angles to look at. The words of the Quran are fantastic. That's the reason no human being can say that I have finished pondering over the verses of the Quran. You can do Tazakkur Quran, but Tadabbur Quran, the more you read, the more you ponder, the more you understand, inshallah, the more will you implement. Every Muslim home should have a copy of the Quran. And if they don't understand Arabic, they should have the translation of the Quran in the language they understand the best. This Quran is the best gift you can give to any human being, irrespective whether he is a Muslim or non-Muslim, irrespective whether the person you're giving the gift to is rich or poor, whether it's a nikah or whether it's a housewarming ceremony. The best gift you can give, the most invaluable gift, is the copy of the glorious Quran. And if the person doesn't understand Arabic, give the translation of the glorious Quran in the language you understand the best.